talking about this, so what are the effects of unchecked long-term stress in our bodies, according to traditional Chinese medicine?
So if you're talking Chinese medicine language, you know, I guess it could be anything. It could be any symptom, really, because, you know, someone might come in with, they might come in and yes, they want stress relief, but their symptoms might be headaches and they don't go to the toilet as regularly as they would like, and things like that. So again, it's just establishing where that balance level of disharmony is happening in the body and regulating that. So it could really, symptoms of stress can really vary so much. Some people come in and they're not necessarily coming in for stress, but they want to support, they might be doing an IVF cycle or something like that, and they want some extra support through that, and they may or may not necessarily recognize that they're stressed. But symptoms, you know, symptoms of that, again, that fight or flight being dominant might mean that they have digestive issues, or they can't fall asleep very easily, or so it's it can really be so many things.
It can be so many things.
Yeah.
And what would be some of the most common things of someone who has been experiencing stress for years? What have you seen in your experience, or perhaps that you know from literature, of those effects of continuous stress? What happens in our bodies?
Well, I think it can take its toll, like, in so many ways. Like, more often than not, they're not sleeping very well, or there's chronic digestion issues, or there might be like pain somewhere in the body. It could be, you know, and often it's more than one thing. There's like several little niggly things, and it might even go unchecked, like they haven't really realized that there might be sort of 5 main things happening that is the new normal in a way, and it's sort of helping the person recognize, okay, actually this doesn't have to be your normal anymore. We need to help re-regulate and re-find a new normal or new balance in the body. So it's sort of hard to pick one thing, because I think for many it can be multiple number of things. But that inability to switch off, I think, is probably a big one. Like, it might be that the first acupuncture session they can't fully relax because it's like, I don't know what's happening, this is all new. And I always reassure people that actually you get better with relaxing. You get way better. Like, by the second or third treatment, you'll actually be able to switch off. And some people fall asleep, you know. It's I guess helping people recognize too how far out of balance and refinding that.
And also knowing that they can go back to balance.
Definitely. And I think, you know, long term, when you're working with someone that's had a long term, like a lot of stress, will be also identifying what are the causes of that stress. You know, is it a job they hate, or is it, you know, certain relationships in their life that aren't serving them anymore, that they haven't fully recognised, that are causing that constant state of stress. So there's so many things, and I find often a session goes beyond just the physical body. Like, we have to talk about, you know, what's really going on, like what's been going on for the last 10 years or however long it's been, you know.
The real understanding that we are not just the physical body.
Exactly.
And I find this very valuable, and thank you for touching on this, because it is our task to understand that we are physical and energetic and emotional and mental and spiritual. And then when we are able to check all of that, to take all of that into account, then we can heal. move on.
Yeah.
Lovely. Rachel, what are the main benefits of receiving an acupuncture session and traditional Chinese medicine session?
Okay. The main benefits. Well, I think first and foremost, most people start to feel more relaxed.
Nice.
Yeah. So, you know, a common question I get after a session might be, am I supposed to feel a bit sleepy or a little bit spacey? And, you know, I have to explain that is also your nervous system, just everything's kind of unwinding and relaxing. And if you've been running on adrenaline for the last 3 weeks, yes, you'll feel tired and you might want to go home and have a nap. So it's definitely very restorative and relaxing in that point of view. And some people might think, oh, but I feel more tired after a session, and it's normally because we're helping regulate that nervous system and they're actually switching that fight or flight off.
Thank you for saying that, because I think
Yeah.
it's important for people to understand
Yeah.
you can feel tired
Yeah.
and go to bed.
Yes, and it's actually important for us to check in with ourselves. And in a sense, I think I would say the biggest benefit when people come in, you know, for acupuncture and is that it really encourages them to check in with themselves, like check in with the body, and that may be checking in and realizing, holy shit, I am exhausted, and I actually need to stop doing what I'm doing, or I need to relook at a few things and change a few things. So I think it definitely makes you more in touch with your body, and that could be your physical body or your, you know, emotional, spiritual body, but it's about really reintegrating all the parts of yourself so that you can find balance and, you know, maybe reevaluate why things aren't working out, or why you're feeling the way you're feeling. So really, I think that probably is the biggest benefit, and, you know, all the symptom relief and everything else is just like the icing on the cake. It's just that, but really getting someone to really be more in tune with their body, and listening to it, is probably the biggest benefit.
It's a gift. Really. It's a gift that is gonna last forever. Because once you get in touch with your body,
well, you start to realize what no longer serves you.
Exactly.
And you know how far out of balance you can go and come back. And you know where your boundaries are with, you know, whether that be, you know, with people or the food you're eating, or the amount of sleep that you need, just day to day, all of those things. So yes, it's a lot more than just sticking pins in people, or making them drink these muddy watered teas. It's definitely, I think, the biggest benefit is that checking in.
That is beautiful. Love it. I think it's the first person that I talk to that, you know, about acupuncture that talks a lot about it like this. And it's awesome. It's awesome because it is about that. It is about coming back. As I see, many of the natural therapists and also alternative therapists are looking to help people with that, to come back to them. Beautiful. And so, what can someone expect from coming to a session with you?
So I think I touched a little bit on it before. They'll come in, we'll have a little bit of a chat of where they're at, what they're looking to, why they're here. And then we'll run through some general health questions and more specific if there's a specific concern. We look at the tongue, we take the pulse, we feel their belly, they lie down, we do a few points, and generally someone's left to relax for 20 minutes, half an hour. It depends on the condition and the age of the person. And there's peaceful music, it's relaxing. They have I have a little doorbell in my treatment rooms that they can press if they're a bit nervous because it's the first time, or if they happen to need to pee or anything like that. So they know that they're safe. I think that's a really important thing.
Yeah.
Is especially when it's your first time, feeling safe, because it's a very foreign idea of just lying there with pins stuck in you. So yeah, and then sometimes we add in extra modalities, like we might use cupping, which is like the glass cups that
I love it.
yeah. Or other tools to kind of stimulate the body's energy, like I talked about before, with the needles tapping into that energy flow. Sometimes we might use cups. We might use moxibustion, which is
what is it?
Moxibustion is a herb, mugwort. It's prepared in many different ways, but typically it can be burnt directly on the skin. There's a special cream that you use to protect the skin, and it's only in very, very tiny amounts, and you take it off before it gets too hot, or at the end of it's placed on the top of the needle to warm, so it just sort of transmits energy or heat through the needle. So it's another way of kind of helping the body, helping the energy move. Yeah. So yeah, we might use moxibustion. Gua sha is another one that some people might not have heard of. It's sort of like often it's made from like a jade stone, or sort of like it's a smooth round sort of tool that you gently scrape along the skin, which stimulates again blood flow and energy, a bit similar to cupping. So it just depends, like it's not a set treatment for everyone, so it just depends on what they're coming in with. And then we might decide, usually I don't do herbs first session, unless it's a very specific thing, we know we need to use them, but that might be something we evaluate if, say, they can't come in as often as I would like, and we need that extra support in between sessions, or it's something that needs to move quickly, and we need to just tackle it from both sides.
Yes. Okay. And so, talking about all of this, who is acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine for? Who can come and see you?
Anyone can try it. Yeah. So,
beautiful.
I've treated babies to 80, 90 year olds. So anyone can come in. Obviously the treatment's modified depending on the age and the condition of the person. In say for young babies, the needles aren't left in. There might be 1 or 2 points in and out. That's it. It's very quick, because their bodies are so adaptable and respond so quickly. You don't need to intervene too much.
Interesting.
Or there's many other tools in acupuncture that there's Japanese style sort of shonishin treatments, which actually don't involve needle. It's like a little tool that you gently brush over the meridians along the body, so it's very subtle, but again, the really young ones don't need as much. Sort of not until children get up to, or adolescents, sort of 14 plus, that they have more adult style treatments.
Awesome. So you know now, come for an acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine session. Lovely. And so, Rachel, do you have like a tip or a suggestion for our listeners, for the audience, that they can use at home to help them feel more at ease and maybe like not in the fight or flight mode all the time?
I think one tip, this is a tip I give to a lot of people. Very simple. It's a yoga pose. Literally at the end of the day, they just shuffle their bum right up against the wall, pop their legs up the wall, so they're like in a 90-degree, relax their arms, and just rest for 10 minutes with their legs up the wall.
Fantastic. And what does that do?
It helps switch off the fight or flight, gets them back into it's good also if you've been on your feet or sitting all day, just to help with that lymphatic drainage from the legs. But it's very restorative, and just something very simple. that
It's
they
so
can do.
simple.
Yeah, it's nice. Just flop on the floor, put your legs up the wall.
Yeah. I forgot. I was going to ask you also, because I know that you have an interest in pregnancy.
Mhm.
So do you work with many pregnant women?
Yes. So more often than not, I help, like, we've worked through them maybe trying to conceive, through however,
Beautiful.
might be through stress relief or all different things, but it's a great, like, during pregnancy is a great time to have try something like acupuncture, particularly because you can't really take certain medications, or a lot of women are really resistant to, even if they caught a cold or flu, that they don't want to take any sort of prescription medications or anything. So it just can be a really nice way to support the body, for all different stages, like throughout the pregnancy. So even just common ailments like feeling a bit nauseous at the beginning to supporting the aches and pains towards the end.
Towards the end, of course,
Yeah.
Oh,
and also just a spot to check in, not only with themselves but also with their baby.
Of course,
I find because of that relaxation effect of acupuncture, women come in and they're like, the baby moves so much when I'm lying on the table, because they're relaxed and so they get to enjoy that connection with their baby as well, which I think is really nice. And I think for many women during pregnancy, it's a busy time, there's a lot to organise, and just finding that time, whether it be like prenatal yoga or an acupuncture session or something that helps them just check in with themselves and the baby, I think it's a really important thing throughout their pregnancy journey.
And to feel supported, I guess.
Totally. Yeah.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. So Rachel, we've come to the end of our podcast, and I need to ask you the customary question of this podcast, which is, how do you approach life with love?
I think approaching life with love means, treating others how you'd like to be treated, making people feel safe, special, cared for, and that knowing that we're all in this together. And I think, it can be small gestures, little things, like often, leaving little notes for loved ones, or, even for me in my work, really being present, being present, and also, I didn't realise I was doing this recently, but just in order to make people feel safe is like, even just that comforting touch, or and say, I'm gonna let you relax, I'll be back soon. And I do put so much love into just that little gesture, but just I think those little things, there's not one thing, it's just many little things, to make people, make us all feel connected, really.
Totally, and creating the ripple effect.
Totally, because you feel great when you,
of course,
when you're beaming out love to others, then in a way it comes back in other ways. And
totally, and they come out and they spread it at home, at work, wherever they are, as well. Lovely. Well, thank you for being part of this ripple effect.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
My pleasure. And before we finish, how can people find you?
So if they want to get in touch, I have a website. It's www.rachelhaley.com. Rachel with an AEL. Maybe you can have it in the notes or something.
And what about your social media?
So I have Instagram and Facebook, both Rachael_Haley_acupuncture.
Fantastic. Lovely. So now you know where to find Rachel and come for a beautiful acupuncture treatment and TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. I learned that preparing for this. Well, thank you once again, Rachel. And
thanks so much, Laura.
No, my pleasure. And I'll catch you next week. Mwah!